a great group here today, and we have lots of questions that I have going to ask them, and we'll get started right away so that this way you can make sure you have paper out, pencils, so whatever it is that you use to write with, your journals, so that this way you can also put some of those things into your book that what we do every day as ICON agents to get to where we are. So I don't know very many of you that are on stage except for Vanessa, and I have talked multiple times. And Vanessa, why don't I start with you? We're just going to go quickly. Okay, I don't need everybody's like whole history, but let's just do quickly how long you've been with EXP, how many year ICON you are, and just a small snippet about your business, because I do have lots of questions to ask. So Vanessa, we'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, Debbie. Yep. Debbie, you and I have been here a long time. So I'm a 7-time ICON agent in my 8th year, just starting it. So shortly we'll be an 8-time ICON agent. I am in Liberty Hill, Texas, and I service pretty much all of the Central and Hill Country. I have dominated a lot of my business with farm and ranch besides residential. And I've been with EXP since an early adopter, 2016, like November sometime.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I think we when Vanessa and I joined, there weren't even 1,500 agents in the company. Is that correct, Vanessa?
Yeah, there was not that many people. No, like I said, we've been here a long time.
I know my son is like agent like 1342 or something crazy like that. They don't give out the numbers anymore, but they did back then.
I know, right?
Yeah, because then you'd be like agent 90,300 or something. Okay, let's move on to, let's see, Kelly. Kelly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Kelly Jackson. I cover DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I have a small team in Houston, Texas. This is my 22nd year in real estate, and I've been with EXP two years as of January, and I'm a 2-time ICON.
Wonderful, congratulations. And now we'll move to Jeff Dickinson. Is he here? Is he on stage?
Hey, Debbie, it looks like Jeff still hasn't made it here, but
Okay.
we'll wait for him, and I'll sidebar you in the chat when he shows up.
Okay, and so is the other person we have is Jeff, but do you pronounce it Jeff?
No, it's Jeff.
So Jeff with a G. Let's go to you next.
Yep. Okay, so I've been with EXP since April of 2023, and I hit ICON, I think, in like October. I've been in real estate for 6 years. Did 46 million my last year with Remax before coming over here, and I wish I would have came over as soon as you guys did. When I learned about those number things, I was like, oh, that's so cool. What's my number? And they were like, yeah, you don't want to know. But just knowing the benefits of EXP now, it's one of those things where you say, I wish I would have went way sooner. So I'm just happy to be here now. I run a team of 9 agents. I just had a meeting to bring on the 10th one this morning, and I'm in Warsaw, Indiana.
Wonderful. You know, I don't know why I'm hearing an echo for some reason, Brian. Is there a reason for that? I don't know.
It could be because someone might have their mic open. So if we could just make sure that we have our mics muted while we're all talking, and then unmute them by pressing 1 while you're talking, and that'll just open up your mic.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So,
you're welcome.
Jeff, people have always said, I always say this company is one where, if more people heard about it and really understood our model, you say to yourself, why wouldn't they want to be with it? And it doesn't matter that you've, only came over in 2023. The big picture is that you have come over, and now you can create this legacy for yourself, your family, and the team members that are on your team. Okay, so let's start with some of my questions that I have here. And Jeff, I'm gonna continue with you. I want you to give us a little idea about what sets you apart from other agents.
Okay, what sets me apart? I think that after getting into this business, like I was always an entrepreneur, and and since being in the business, I can see that a lot of agents treat it more like a job instead of their own business that they run. And so I've always treated mine as my business. So I work harder at it. I provide a higher level of service. I like, you invest into it. Some people are scared to do paid leads, but for me, everything is a business. So you would invest back into your own business if it was anything else. And real estate just happens to be a super cheap business to get into and maintain. And a lot of people are scared to spend money back into it. I always try to teach my agents that you should not be cheap in that manner. Like, you should not be using a laptop that's 12 years old that has trouble connecting to a printer or not have a printer. I'm like, this is your business. You need to treat it that way because your clients will know the difference between someone that treats it as a job and somebody that treats it as a business.
Thank you. Vanessa, how about you?
I think what sets me apart is that for me, it's always been any means necessary, and GPS will travel. So I moved from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands when I first got into real estate and didn't really know anybody. So the only thing that I could do coming back to Texas after being in the islands for 15 years is to be out in coffee shops and restaurants, which is what was my comfort zone because I owned restaurants and coffee shops. So just like Jeff, I have been an entrepreneur my entire life and have only ever received paychecks based upon my own what I put into anything. So like him, my phone was basically an appendage. It still is. I answer my phone no matter what. And I'm the agent that I just got a call from. I'm a referral of a referral agent. So I'm a referrer of referrers. What do I mean by that? I sell other agents' houses because they don't want to sell their own houses. I sell my clients' referrals. So I'm always there no matter what they need. Even if they have a question they can pick up. But an agent didn't want to drive an hour away to go do a house for $185,000. I don't care that it's $185,000. It's $185,000 to help someone get into something that's going to better their lifestyle. So that's the kind of agent I am that sets myself apart. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much it is. I'm going to go there. So, I have a $23,000 listing right now, and I have a $14 million listing. I do not treat them any different.
That's wonderful to hear. Up in my market, which is Western New York, $185,000 house, that's almost the beginning of luxury homes up here because our price points are so low. And that's going in with an escalation clause. Okay, Kelly, how about we hear from you? What sets you apart?
I think what sets me apart is I've been licensed in 5 different states and worked and started off in the Chicago market, then the Houston market, and then to the DMV. I can shift with the best of them. So when the market shifts, I shift. And I was around, fortunately, in 2008, 2009, when the bottom dropped out, and I shift into a complete REO short sale agent at that time. Now I'm 100% retail. So whenever the market shifts, sometimes we got to change our habits and sometimes we got to do things and get more uncomfortable. And I have mastered the art of not only moving around from place to place, but also being able to shift with the market and still being able to be a top agent no matter what is going on with the economy.
Great, thank you so much. Has our other Jeff arrived yet? My gosh,
It doesn't look like we have
I hope
that.
he's okay.
Yeah, I know. I'll message him.
Yeah, do that, because I always worry when people, even like when you book appointments with a client and they don't show up, I always worry that something, God forbid, happened to them. Okay, so, there's a question here in the chat box, and somebody asked, what would be the best advice for a new agent that has no background in the business? So Kelly, why don't we start with you, and then we'll move to Vanessa and then Jeff.
I would say for a brand new agent that has no experience in the business, you do have life experience. And so I would make sure that I know that I let everyone that I know that I'm now in real estate. And I got my first big break by doing that. There was a builder that I knew, and my very second year in the business, I ended up buying a house from them. and I let them know I was now in real estate, and they gave me a shot. I sold one of their contingencies, so people that were moving into the community, and I ended up selling that whole community and being their go-to agent. So don't be a secret agent. Make sure that you're letting everyone know that you're in real estate. And the second thing is be a lifelong learner. Like learn everything you can, soak up all the information that these icons and everyone really in within EXP who's very generous with sharing and opening up their playbooks, like soak all that in because it certainly does pay off.
Wonderful, thank you. Vanessa?
A lot like, I'm a lot like you. I think that you can't be a secret agent. Number one, in the world of AI and everything, everyone's trying to get, how do I become automated? How do I become not this person? Well, you know what? Authenticity and you being you is what sets you apart from someone else. So if you're not actually out there and meeting people, go sit in a coffee shop, go eat at a bar, you eat lunch, you have coffee, you do things out. Make sure every day that you have a steady stream of Mondays I'm in this area, Tuesdays I'm in this area. And if you get to be in a routine that every Monday, say you're at, for us, I would say Summer Moon Coffee. On Wednesdays, you're at Houndstooth. Whatever that is, you get into a routine where the same people see you. And eventually somebody's going to talk to you and say, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm working on things with my clients. So even though when I didn't have clients in the beginning, that's how I learned the MLS. That's how I learned areas. That's how I learned all the zip codes. That's how I learned, you know, what was the place to be in, or the new and upcoming area. I was kind of the agent that always wanted to know the kind of the next secret area and was selling those usually a year before the other agents were saying, hey, oh my God, this is a hot area. By the time they thought it was a hot area, I was already on to the next hot area. And that's staying a constant learner, and that's being out and make sure that you have accessibility to have conversations with people, because bottom line, we are in a relationship business. No AI or anything is going to take out being in a relationship business. You know, you've got to be out and being in public and seeing people. That is our business. So.
Awesome, very true words there. Get out and mingle. Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, I'm a lot of the same. I like to do it with my team too. When we go out, you know, for dinners or any kind of events, I'm always the first one to, you know, ask the waiter or waitress, are you interested in real estate? Do you have a realtor? And so I kind of just do that to try to show them that it's literally anywhere and everywhere in your life that you can find a deal or a referral partner or anything. But for a brand new agent, especially being with EXP, I would always recommend joining one of the teams. And EXP is very unique in its team structure. They have teams that are agents all throughout the world, or, you know, my team is local to my community. But with EXP, I would join a team. You do have to pay them a split as well, but you will get taught a lot better than trying to go off on your own. You might even join one that provides leads, that gives you experience. But shadowing, open house opportunities, joining a team is what I would do as a brand new agent.
Great, thank you so much. Did somebody, Vanessa, was that you? Did you want to say something?
No, I didn't have anything on. No, I'm
Okay.
just waiting
I'm
for
sorry.
you.
I heard some background noise. I heard some chatter. So I don't know if many of you in the audience today, hopefully all of you, were at the big agent meeting, otherwise as Russ calls it, BAM. And Elizabeth Riley was there. And Elizabeth and I have known each other, you know, since I joined 7 years ago. Well, I'm in my 8th year now, just like Vanessa. And it's so funny because she made a comment about that, you know, basically that some of the stuff she didn't invent, she sees it and she copies it. And I felt very honored that one time she copied me. And I'm just going to tell you a quick story because it segues into what the next question is. So I have a Facebook site. It's called I Love You a Latte. And I send out a newsletter, and it's nothing about real estate, nothing about the market, every month. And with this I Love You a Latte, it got to be that we would go out to coffee shops and buy coffee for people that we didn't know. And we just tell them about our worthy cause, the money that we donate, that we give out to the community. but we do this every month, that we have this letter that goes out, and reminded me that one year Elizabeth said, hey, I'm going to change your thing a little bit and call it I Love You a Lotto, and send out a lottery ticket. So we did that, and we get great response from that too. I'm wondering, how do you as ICON agents or real estate agents keep in touch with your database? And do you have some kind of a worthy cause that you give back to? So we'll start with Kelly.
So yes, so our database is, and I have multiple databases because I've lived in other places. So it keeping in contact with my database is probably the number one thing that I focus on. And so really what that looks like is making sure that I'm, first of all, communicating with them at least 4 times a year. And that's a direct contact. Also, client events is very important because client events give us an opportunity to not focus on real estate, but to actually do something fun. And so that may be any number of things. Just before COVID, we had a tasting event where we invited our A+ clients, because my clients are segmented into different levels, and it's an opportunity to. My daughter is a chef, so they were able to number one, taste her food, and secondly, be able to just share one another. Also, we put together a networking group that we invited local businesses to, and once a month they come in and we network. And so it was a way to introduce some of our clients that had other businesses uh, to other clients in our database. And also, social media is really big going in. And I think Elizabeth Riley mentioned consulting, congratulating, and complimenting. Those are big things with our social media, and making sure, and we use video a lot to stay in contact with our clients as well.
Great, thank you. How about you, Jeff?
So we are big into KV Core, which before EXP I'd never used it, and I had tried a lot of CRMs, but I never gave them the effort that a CRM deserves. So then I hated all of them, and it's like the people say the best CRM is the one you use. So with KV Core, I've really doubled down on that, and that's how we keep in contact a lot with our clients, with annual holiday campaigns. Any lead that comes in will get a certain kind of campaign attached to it. I like KV Core because you can even put in there, the closing date, and it will automatically send them an anniversary on their closing date. Their birthday will automatically send them a email or text on their birthday. So that's kind of how we keep in touch. I also have the Facebook group for my own clients. And then this is going to be the first year where we really throw client events. I have not done that in the past. And so this is going to be our first year of trying that. So I liked listening to you guys and all the stuff that you have done.
Awesome, thank you. Vanessa? Did we do Vanessa already? No.
Yay,
Vanessa.
okay,
Sorry.
yeah. So for me, I do huge client appreciation parties, but I have a client concierge. I have a person that I pay $400 a month on retainer. She sends out birthday cards. She, taps into them, loves on them for me. In fact, she was actually a past client who bought 9 homes from me. Said that you are the most fabulous agent I have ever met. You know how to find the deals, create the deals, negotiate the deals. But once we're done, we all have this, they go through what they call withdrawals. So we decided that she'll come on and she'll be my person that loves on them, just as I continued to do all throughout the deal, because people we're having withdrawals because they were like, hey, can we go, grab a glass of wine? Can we have a coffee? Sure. I was always available via text to my clients, but wasn't always so much in front of it. So 5 years ago, I instrumented my client concierge, and it's been fabulous. Now, as for my client appreciation parties, I do a big one. And I get all of my vendors, because I've had the same exact title rep. I've had the same lender, the same home warranty company, and the same inspector. I don't hop around. So when I ask for something, because all my clients actually are their clients, so we all jump in, and I usually do a big wine party out in Fredericksburg or surrounding areas, so that it's kind of a day thing. Take the whole day off and just go out and enjoy. And my clients absolutely love it. So that's kind of what I do.
That's great. And, for all of you new agents, thinking about a client appreciation party, just as Vanessa said, ask people that you work with. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to help you succeed. Vendors, title companies, mortgage brokers. We use attorneys here in New York State, so they're all a part of it. But you just, even home inspectors would be willing to help out. And start small. I started out just having a breakfast. Every quarter I had a breakfast, and actually breakfast is the cheapest meal of the day. You find a nice location for it. There's no alcohol involved, scrambled eggs, pancakes, whatever. And it's just something that you can do to bring your database together. And you can do it for different things, like who you sold a house to that month, or who referred a house to you, that person to you that month. And Vanessa said, I just want to reiterate on something else that Vanessa said about her client. I don't remember what client care coordinator, is that what you called her?
Client concierge.
So we've had one also on our team for many, many years. And I will tell you, they will make a difference, because they can scour like Facebook. And if, hey, Debbie, I just want you to know that so-and-so's having an anniversary, or let me send them a card, or, Debbie, sad news, so-and-so, I saw on your Facebook page that so-and-so, somebody passed away. Those are the only time I don't put my business card inside of a card when I send it. But, those are important people. And sometimes, I had to laugh, Vanessa, when you said that the people, they become like, they go through withdrawal. And I have never taken a client off of a search, because don't take people off a search, because it'd be just those people that, 3 years later say, hey, I'm still on a search. I saw a house I really liked. Can we get in to see it? So remember that. Okay, Vanessa, I'm going to start with you. When you
Just
face
real quick, Jeff Dickerson's here. Do you want to ask him so he can kind of jump in so that we can get him
I'm
in,
sorry,
and then
I
I'll
didn't
go
see that he was
next.
here.
No,
Okay.
you're good. He just got here.
Oh, hi, Jeff. Well, welcome. We've missed you. So, Jeff, we're going to start you off with what's that?
I was in another auditorium giving a presentation, so it kind of went over. So sorry I'm late to the table, but happy to be here.
We're happy that you are here, and I hope the other presentation went well. So we're going to start you off with a new question, and that is, when you're faced with a business challenge, where do you seek inspiration from, support to revitalize your endeavors? Where do you go?
So one of the things that I do is I have created what I call a non-denominational realty group. So I've got 8 other agents aside from myself from other realty brands that we get together, and each brand has its own little picadillos and technology and lack of technology, or what have you. But just being able to banter back and forth. Usually, my biggest challenge, I do about 80 transactions a year as a single agent. Usually, my biggest challenge is just having a listing here and there that just isn't selling, and so being able to put more eyeballs on the situation and said, I would do things this way or that way. That's probably my biggest way that I overcome business challenges. Getting more intellectual engagement with other professionals around me to look at the situation and find a solution.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we'll move over to Vanessa.
Awesome. I think that the more deals you're in, the more you're going to learn to mitigate things before they happen. So I've had a lot of extreme, crazy challenges in my situation. And I think no matter what, you have to make sure you're always doing a CYA. You're going to have people who are going to love you and you're going to have people who are going to hate you. It is what it is. It's our business. And one day that person is your cheerleader, the next day they're not so much. And it's happened to all of us. So any agent that's a top agent that says, you know, I haven't had a situation where, you know, a client absolutely loved you, you've done everything. And truly, sometimes it is the market when something's not selling and an $8 million property isn't selling. And they decide to tell your broker that you don't communicate and everything. And then you have all of your text communications that were literally 242 pages filled with text communication where they said I had not communicated. So I think in our business, you always have to make sure that if you're putting your mouth, you know, you want to make sure that you're backing it up with the walk. So I think that's where the biggest challenges in our business come, is that sometimes as agents, we're so happy to please that we don't always look and make sure that we're covering up the stuff that we're doing. And as long as you make sure that the work that you're putting in is actually documented, so in some way, shape, or form, and you have things implemented. I mean, even as big agents along the way, I started learning how to use list tract and other things to help mitigate where people didn't think that I was actually advertising and so forth. Even though that I had all the advertisement and everything out there, they just, because if, you know, out of sight, out of mind, and they don't see it, sometimes you have to be your biggest cheerleader and say, hey, this is what I'm doing for you, because they don't realize what you're doing for them. And I'm not always the biggest one to go out and brag, hey, this is what I'm doing for you. But through different things, we all learned that sometimes, again, you have to go out there and show them what you're doing, because they may think that you're doing nothing. So when you come back with 242 pages worth of text, they go, oh, actually, she does communicate. That was just my bad. I didn't realize. So, you know, you've got to make sure that, you know, in our business, you're doing a CYA most of the time.
Okay, great. We'll go over to the Jeff with a G.
Yeah, with us handling struggles in the business, it's really, I created that team that we have. And so we have a group chat, and we're always in that group chat, like bouncing ideas off each other. And then we use a TC service called Cast. I think they will service like any EXP people. So if any of you guys are looking for a TC service, Cast is amazing. And what they do is a weekly huddle is what we call it. And if, depending on how big your team is, I know they do it like twice a week for some teams. Every agent's like required to be there on a Zoom call, and they just go through every deal and talk about, you know, what's going on. Hey, I need this from this client. Have you heard from this lender on this deal? But then when issues are brought up, like, you know, anybody having a deal and they have an issue, we have 10 agents in there together talking about, you know, hey, this happened on an inspection report. And then all of a sudden one of the other agents is like, oh, well, I've dealt with that. All we did was do this, this, and this. So we really collaborate a lot and support each other. And then with all of our experiences, we can usually come up with a pretty good idea of how to solve any problems that come our way.
All right, wonderful. Kelly, how about you?
So I have been very fortunate to have some wonderful mentors and coaches in my life over the years. So when I first got into real estate, I hired a coach, and that cut down the learning curve tremendously. So by my second year, I was able to be a very successful realtor because of being in coaching. I have a coach now, as a matter of fact, even though I've been in the business over 22 years. So coaching is super important. If you don't have a coach, definitely a mentor. Uh, Even if you qualified out of the mentor program, it's still a great idea to have someone who's helping you that you can bounce ideas off of. We have a daily huddle, much like Jeff, on our team, 5 days a week, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, and we get on there for a half an hour and go over all of our transactions and answer questions. And I also am part of a mastermind group of agents that meet across the country. We meet twice a week, and we talk about what's working, what's not working, what they're seeing. Someone in California may be having a very different experience through the market than I'm having here. So it really helps to be in that collaborative space, talking to other agents. And finally, the brokers, our state level brokers are phenomenal. They hold events where you can get to know them, and they're always answering questions very, very quickly, whether you're coming into the world or you are reaching them on workplace. So I've been very, very pleased with the response times and just how attentive the brokers are, because I didn't get that at my previous brokerage.
Well, I can't agree with you more about the coaching. Jeff Dickinson, do you have a coach?
I don't, but I have an agent on my front line that is a certified coach. I think with 3 different organizations. So in a way, I do. We interact daily.
Okay, Vanessa, do you have a coach?
I have different coaches. So I have a subconscious coach. I have like a business coach. I have a life coach. I have health coaches. So lifestyle coaches. So I kind of compartmentalize my life, and I have a coach in each division.
Wonderful. And our other Jeff with a G, do you have a coach?
I do, and he's with EXP. It's Austin Chevron. I think he's been like the #1 coach for EXP for a few years. But he also runs a coaching program called used to be called ASP Live Agent Success Program. Now they call it Chevron Coaching Live, and that's a weekly one where I have my whole team in to watch that video every single week. And then I also have him as a personal one-on-one coach. And coaching is by far and above like one of the best things you can do in any business. Coaching and mentoring is huge.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so in terms of mentorship and fostering growth within the EXP community, how do you contribute to the development of other agents? Let's start with Kelly.
So within EXP, I am a certified mentor. So I do have agents that I mentor within EXP. And outside of EXP, I run the 2 masterminds a week on social media. And we have anywhere between 30 and 50 agents on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And a lot of them, well, on Tuesdays, it's open to all agents, no matter what level. And then on Wednesday, we have a higher level of team leaders and so forth. And so through that, not only does it help the other agents, it also helps me to stay on my toes as well, because I'm actually answering questions. I'll open our playbooks and go to elevate these agents that are at varying levels. Also, and aside from that, my team, I do training for my team every week. Our morning huddles are really instrumental in growth and being able to kind of reach back and help other agents through our lunch and learns as well. Every quarter, we have a lunch and learn where we will team up with one of our vendor or a couple of our vendor partners, maybe title and a lender, and we'll provide training and lunch for agents no matter what brand they're under.
Wonderful. Jeff Dickinson, how about you?
Yeah, three things come to mind, Debbie. So one is that each Wednesday we have a 1-hour mastermind, primarily for my downline. But we also have other agents from other denominations that join us on that. And, it's just a great way to banter. We create what we call sparks and fire starters, and we're really able to get pretty granular on a particular subject once a week. So that's pretty good. Two other things is majority of my business comes from corporate affinity. So I teach corporate affinity not only in the world here, but outside the world, just to try to make agents aware that they can generate clients at the workplace. And then more recently, over the last 6 months, created an AI company called leadignition.ai. So we're teaching agents how to use AI to lead generate, follow up, and nurture clients. So really excited about all three of those initiatives.
Wonderful. Vanessa?
I'm sorry, I'm like dealing with my truck right now. So they came in and like, we have to take your truck. They can't fix it here. So I was like, okay. So what was the question? I apologize.
That's okay. The question was, in terms of mentorship and fostering growth within the EXP community, how do you contribute to the development of other agents?
Well, very funny. I do a lot of stuff. I fly actually out. I've had the privilege of being able to speak at a couple of the different regional rallies, one in New York, one in Orlando. I'm actually flying out to Orlando to help Mike Collier with some stuff. My phone is always open. Any agent that reaches out to me in the state of Texas, I'm known as the farm and ranch and land kind of specialist that will actually answer the phone. So the brokers have people call me. I have an open phone, open door policy. So you need help, you call and you ask, and I'm there. So what we also do as a group, we have all the icons or top producers rather, because some people have come over and they just haven't iconed yet. But in a group text, I think there's like 35 of us, and we're constantly chattering back and forth. And hey, who knows this? What do you have a source for this or that? We really make ourselves accessible as a group as well here in our particular area, just because we have so many. Elizabeth Riley is my actual immediate sponsor, so you can imagine like what kind of culture we have here in the surrounding Central Texas area. So mentorship is huge. So anybody I've mentored, they still call me for anything and everything.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Jeff, how about the other Jeff? How about you?
Yeah, that is always been a part of like with my entrepreneurship. I've always wanted to just help and train other people, and not just in real estate. I would buy Dave Ramsey books on the $10 sale and make a post to just give those out for free to help people get their finances in order. And then with real estate, it's allowed me to really kind of up that level. So I pour into all of my agents. I have like 2 weekly trainings with them. And then in my upline is Austin Chevron, who, his whole business model is coaching and training other agents. And so that flows down to me. I'm able to then flow that out to my other agents, and really anybody. I am always trying to post motivational stuff throughout my social medias, and connect with people and help them in their situations.
Great. That's awesome. Okay. How about this? Do you set up a business plan for the year? When do you set that up? And if you could just highlight 3 things in your business plan that might be helpful to our audience. Vanessa, we're going to start with you.
Awesome. As for business planning, it's a huge part of my my business all the way around. I kind of do something where I'll start in early August of the year before coming. So 2023, I started kind of mapping out what did I want to set in goals. And then I do a deep dive session in definitely by October, because whatever you're doing in October is actually coming to fruition right now. Like I walked into the year with 50 million in listings. So it was a lot of the work that I was doing 3 months prior that is coming to fruition now. So I think that planning and all of that is strategic, and it needs to be done through, different parts of the year. So I take it as in sprints. So I'll take a 10-year, 5-year, 7-year, or a 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, and then 1 year, and take that 1 year and divide it into 4 different sprints at 90 days. And then I just finished doing a vision mapping session yesterday. And what that does is it really helps kind of solidify anything else out there that's lingering in all the different categories. So I think you need to look at your spirituality, your family, your career, your finances, travel, what you're giving back, your relationships, and your health, and have things that actually are going to be what your goals are in each and every section, because that's the only way you're going to make yourself whole as an agent. Because what we do is lifestyle and business really can't be separated. It's all in one, in my personal opinion. So those are kind of the things that I do and how I set it up. And I have a very strategic plan. And I'm sitting here looking at my 2024 goals right here. 8-time icon agent, $1 million in GCIs, 50 million production, just me personally, 100 million for my team, average 5 transactions per month. So I have like all of these sitting here where I have to actually physically look at them every day. And if I avoid my office, it means I'm avoiding my goals.
That's great. That's great. Jeff Dickinson, how about you?
Yeah, so just like Vanessa, August is when I start, and generally by October I've got a plan, because everything we do today definitely shows up 3 or 4 months from now. So we always have to be thinking ahead. A couple things that I do. One is I track my buyers and sellers on Excel, and so I can really tell what next year looks like. So kind of like Vanessa, I've got 42 listings promised for this year. We've already gone through about 15 of them successfully. So we're on track there. But I can just see exactly who my buyers, who my sellers are. One little tidbit, it's interesting that in most years, 98% of my clients that I'm going to serve this year, I don't even know who they are at the beginning of the year. It's kind of interesting, kind of scary, but just kind of FYI. Number 2 is, as part of my review and business planning, I also go back through and review expenses, because I think this is an area that really gets away from us. We bought that $298 product. Is it working for us? Is it not working for us? So, going through your credit card slips and statements and things like that, and just getting rid of things that aren't working. So those are just a few tidbits.
Great, thank you. Jeff, go Jeff.
Yeah, so for like a business plan, really in real estate, you can track all the way down to how many conversations you need to have to achieve whatever your goal is, if you track properly. So if you can track your conversion rates, and your GCI, your average commission percentage, you can get to the point where in 2024 you go, okay, I want to make 500,000 GCI. Well, I know that my average commission is this, and my average conversion percent is, whatever, 10%. And you can really get down to say, okay, I need to have 40 conversations every single week. And by that math, if everything stayed the same, I will hit my goal. So, and we're big on numbers. My assistant probably hates it, but I have so many spreadsheets where she tracks everything. And I can tell, when I go to a listing, I can tell them what my average days on market is compared to the markets, what my average list to sale percentage is compared to the markets. And then that just translates into your business planning. So we always sit down as a team. I go over all their goals and I help them evaluate that. And we say, okay, well, these are your goals. We need to be talking to these many people, or, we need to come up with another lead source for you this year to be able to hit that. And that's really the planning that we do, is just tracking so much in advance that makes the planning part easy.
Okay, great. And Kelly, how about you?
So this year I had flown. I went to EXPCon, and before that, California. So I decided that in between the 2 conferences, that would be the business planning time. So it was remote and in a hotel, which gave me a lot of time to really think. And so what I do is reverse engineer. I look at what my income goal is, and then kind of backtrack and break it down. Well, I need this many transactions. So I created a spreadsheet, and basically I punch in my income goal, what percentage of my clients are going to be sellers versus buyers if you work with both, and also your average sales price. And it tells me how many transactions I need to complete to make that happen. We also look at our lead sources. So we go back and take a look at every single transaction and where did it come from? Because sometimes we pay for lead sources or we're doing something and we think, oh, there's so much being generated from it, but we actually use the data to decide if that's true or not. And is this a lead source that we need to double down on and do more of? Or is there something we need to let go? And do we need to add another lead source to get to whatever that number is? And finally, looking into our CRM, we can track a lot of data. When I came over, I was already using Follow Up Boss, and I've continued to do so. And I'm able to find out what lead sources are serving us well and which ones aren't, where our deals come from, and even how many conversations we're averaging and how many conversations it takes to get an appointment. Because I think that's one of the biggest areas that people underestimate. They think that they can follow up with someone twice and it generates business. Sometimes it's the 15th or the 30th conversation before that person is actually converted into a client. So we take all of that into consideration. And of course, we do look at our budget, not just our budget on lead generation, but also on marketing our properties. And so really sitting down and coming up with a plan for the year, but then breaking it down into quarterly, monthly, and weekly goals as well. And even down to daily, especially when you're newer, how many conversations do you need to make on a daily basis? So I've been doing that for years. And it really is having a business plan is part of treating your real estate career like a business. And if you do that right from the start, it pays huge rewards.
Great, thank you. And you said something that prompted me to our next particular question that I have for you, and that is, what are you using for your time blocking? And can you just pick one day of the week and tell me what your routine looks like? And Kelly, we'll stay with you, and then we'll move on through the group.
So I don't know how many have read the book, The 5 a.m. Club, but at 5 a.m., my watch jolts me to wake up. And so at the beginning of the day, it really is water and workout and getting centered for the start of the day. So we generally work out. Then after workout, get dressed, have breakfast. I'm on the huddle for our morning huddle. But before I get on huddle, I've also read 10 pages by the time I get on huddle. And I've also posted to either Facebook, Google, Instagram, or TikTok. Um, then at 8 o'clock, we're on the huddle from 8 to 8:30. At between 8:30 and 9, I prepare my schedule or look over my schedule because it was prepared the night before. And then between 9 and noon, I am prospecting or following up. That's a practice that I've continued throughout my career. Um, Between 12 and 4, I reserve that. So between 12 and 1, it it looks like follow-up calls, people that I wasn't able to get in touch with earlier, and the afternoons are reserved for. Sometimes I'll have masterminds, but most of the time it's appointments in the afternoons, and then in the evenings. Um, when I come back, I'm doing paperwork if I have any. Maybe it's getting it to our admin team, um, and I will plan for the next day. So I look over, I'll evaluate how the day went, grade how I feel about it, and then I'm going to plan for the next day. Like, what are the rocks, the big rocks that I have to hit the following day? And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
sorry, I was talking and my mic was off. Kelly, one of the questions that was put into the chat was, when do you eat or drink? Do you actually time block your meals?
Yes. Uh,
Okay.
so and for the most part, we eat as a family. Um, so, and I learned that a long time ago that, and whenever we have my husband's a realtor as well. So it's very important that we have some time that isn't just focused on real estate. So we don't generally have our phones at the table, and we do have a meal together as a family. So and the mornings is time blocked. The afternoon, so lunch is kind of sometimes on the go. Uh, but breakfast and dinner, I do have on my time block.
Great, that's wonderful to hear. And for those of you that do know or don't know, my husband is also one of the brokers for New York State. And that is so important to have that time to sit down with your family. So I time block what we call AIS, which is ass in seat meals. And if we eat lunch, if we're both at the office or at home, we actually sit down, same thing, take our phones away. Dinner, I may have appointments after dinner or calls, but we sit down for dinner every night because that's so important, especially if you and your spouse or your significant other or your partner are in the same line of business. Let's hear from Vanessa for that.
This might get a little controversial. I do not believe in time blocking whatsoever. I believe in self-management. So if you can manage yourself, then you can manage your time. But a lot like Kelly, my day starts at 4:20 in the morning. I get up, I have meditation time, then I write in my 5-minute journal, then I head to the gym, I work out, and come back, have coffee with my husband, and then I write my inspiration for the day that goes out to about 150 agents via text. And then I then post it on social media and into on my personal pages as well as into Workplace. So I think when you can manage your time first thing in the morning by reading and doing all of that, I think you're going to see that's a common thread from all top producers, is that we own our mornings. By owning your morning and self-managing, then I go into different appointments in the day. So it just depends on, like a typical day. I'll go through, let me go through Wednesday. So I had a 15-minute team connect meeting. And then from there, I jumped out and headed to vision mapping, which I was actually a speaker for. And then I had an elevate in luxury right after that. And I did a mastermind as well. And then I came back, did research for properties and sent some properties out. So I think when you can manage your day and manage yourself, your day becomes easier to manage. So time blocking, not as essential, but again, having routines and very defined things that you have to accomplish for yourself every day before you actually get into your day, I think is what helps you learn to self-manage everything else in your calendar.
Wonderful. And Jeff Dickerson.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between. To me, it's been a lifelong dream and challenge to do some time blocking. I kind of call myself the yard sale a little bit, but I agree with controlling the mornings, and that certainly sets the tone. Starting with aspirations. In the morning. I wish I could get up as early as some of you, but basically, what I find is just doing some general time blocking. I'm not so strict on that. By the hour or half hour, what have you. So. But I will say it is a lifelong challenge to adhere to something like that. But definitely for me, it starts with the mornings.
Wonderful. Let's see, who hasn't gone? Jeff, the other Jeff.
Yeah, I do time blocking to an extent, and then and then try to do like self-management the rest. And so my day is usually up at like 4:30, the gym at 5 to 7, and then 7 a.m. taking the kids to school, and then from about like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. what one of my coaches taught me and what I've implemented down into my team is that's prospecting time, and then we have that even broken up like from 8 to 8:30 writing notes, 8:30 to 9:30 calling follow-up calls, and then the rest of the time is actual cold calls. And then, lunch break in there, working with my assistant. We have like one-on-one meetings and calls scheduled weekly. And then I try to be done at 5 p.m. every day. That doesn't happen a lot in real estate. But that's my goal. I'd like to, and I've gotten a lot better at that this year, being able to say no to the business and yes to my family. So that's one of my main things this year is to be able to do that more.
Great, awesome. Those were great answers to the question. And, I want to throw this out there. For those of you that don't do time blocking, I would like to encourage you to start doing it unless you can be like Vanessa and do more of a time management of yourself. Two things that I do that I just want to throw out there that I do with my coaching clients is one, every day after I have my time blocking schedule put in, I go back in at night and I audit it. I put in the other things that I did during the day that weren't blocked or, that maybe were in a free space. And it really helps you get a much broader picture of what it is that you do in your real estate life or your personal life. And the other thing is, I heard this once at a conference and I've never forgotten it. And that is, and I know that we have probably all done this, whether we wake up on our own or we use an alarm clock, but to hit that snooze button 3 or 4 times in the morning, it actually means that you are not honoring your commitment to the day that you've put aside for time blocking. So I'm just going to throw that out there to all of you. Brian, how much time do we have left?
We have roughly 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on track.
All right, good. Let's see. How about just quickly, we go through starting with Vanessa. Vanessa, how do you track your leads?
I don't have the lead source like everybody else does. Mine is me, myself, and I literally get referred business constantly. I had 4 phone calls just in here saying, hey, somebody said I just had to work with you. So I'm very blessed that way, but it's because I show up constantly for all of my clients, all of my vendors. Doesn't matter what they need, I'm there to help them. So that means when they have business, who are they going to refer to? So for me, I just have a basic big Post-it, like one of those big Post-its, and it just tells me my current listings, this and that. And in my phone, I put who referred me. So I already know who's referring every time they call. So it's pretty elementary.
Great. Jeff Dickerson, how about yourself? Or Dickinson,
Yeah,
sorry.
So I just use Excel to track my buyers and sellers. The majority of my business comes from my corporate affinity clients, so small to large companies in my market area. So they know exactly who I am, and typically they're in my ecosystem, inventory permitting, in and out within 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't have to incubate them. It's not long term. These guys are teed up, ready to go. And this is all local and cross-town moves. It's not a relocation play. So really easy for me to track, without having a big CRM.
Wonderful. Kelly, how about you? And then we'll go to the other Jeff, and then we're just about we are actually out of time. So let's answer these a little quicker.
So I live by my CRM. So everyone is tracked in my CRM. I don't have a huge sphere of influence because I've moved to this area 3 years ago. So I do a lot of business with first-time people that are military or government, and they are all tracked in the CRM. And I go into my CRM every single day without fail.
Wonderful. And Jeff with a G.
I do a mix of the CRM with KV Core and spreadsheets as well. But one thing that I've really found helpful is partnering with a lender. Like we do our Zillow leads, and we just have one main lender really that we work with, and they have a database as well, and they are going to follow up like crazy on every lead that comes in as well. So that's been really beneficial of keeping up on buyer leads when you partner with a lender that has systems like that.
Wonderful. Okay. I'm sorry, did somebody want to say something? Okay, so I think we are just about out of time. I can't thank you enough for all being here. I do want to put a shout out because I don't know how many other people in our audience are icons or not, but we do have another 7-time icon, Jeff Rose. Hi to you, and I hope things are going well in New Mexico. And Brian, I'll let you close it up. Icons, thank you so much for being here today, and we so are appreciative of all your knowledge and recommendations that you can give to the other agents. And thank you for allowing me to host this.
Awesome. I want to thank you all for joining us today on the stage. This was a great panel. If you are watching this on YouTube, smash that like button. Debbie, thank you so much for doing this yet again. You are the best. All of you, have a great weekend, and we'll see you here next Friday.